I love the sound of this bike stock. It kind of has a like off-rhythm twin idle sound. This is an L twin, or basically a V twin. My Yamaha was a parallel. They do ride pretty differently. This is a little bit bigger at 803 cc's compared to the 689 of the Yamaha, but the upward angle of the bar reminds me a lot of my Dual Sport, and I miss that bike so much. So I'm in a very comfortable riding position. My chest is up, not hunched over or anything like that. Legs are a little bit bent, but nothing crazy. And I love that there's a nice little area here that doesn't interfere with any of the cables, where I can mount this GoPro for the front-facing angle. All right, let's go to somewhere with a little bit more shade and nature. In terms of service intervals, I believe the first major service, obviously you'll probably have a break-in service pretty early on, but the first major service would be set around 12,000 kilometers, and then the next one would be 24. That should include the valve adjustment as well. You do have to fill this bike up with premium, and I read on the forums that the higher octane it helps with the cooling of this bike, so so far it's a very fun bike to ride around the city. Very comfortable, especially this lower seat height. I find that if you want to do anything that can do city and a little bit of off-road, for example, the Honda CRF 250L, anything ranging from that to even the Kawasaki Versys X300 has a little bit of a high seat height. It is the lowest in the class, I believe. Anywhere up to like BMW GS. I know there's adjustable seats for some of them. And a lot of adventure bikes like the Africa Twin. A lot of those bikes have a pretty high seat height. So I like that this one is very approachable. You know, I think it's 31 inches. And again, balls of my feet are planted, and I could almost put down the heels as well. But it's just enough to, you know, really feel comfortable. It is a light bike as well. I feel like a lot of the weight is lower on the bike, if not the middle of the bike. What makes it feel so light. It is very easy to speed on this bike. I find that from a stoplight, it really wants you to kind of crank the throttle a little bit more, and which is a lot of fun, but if you're trying to stay out of trouble, just make sure you're glancing down at the speedometer every so often. Transmission, I know that some people reported clutch problems. I'm not feeling anything right now. Again, I do ride my bikes pretty gently. I don't think I've even gone past 6,000 RPM on this bike, to be honest. I haven't noticed anything with the clutch. I actually think the transmission and the gear shifts are quite smooth. And again, brakes, they bite pretty hard. But what I noticed with this particular bike, I'm sure it could be adjusted, is the front brake grabs very early and it's very sensitive, with a lot of stopping power. But then I found that I really had to push down on the right foot to get that rear brake activated, which is good if you're dragging the brake a lot for like slow speed maneuvers like this. That power is addicting. Very flickable bike as well. Once you get used to it, it's very addicting. Again, brakes are great. Very smooth. Front forks. I really like the suspension so far. It's not too firm, it's not too soft. Grom is very soft. However, for larger riders, they might find that the suspension is a little bit soft for them. One thing I absolutely love is this slipper clutch equipped on this bike, it does give you that extra layer of confidence when it comes to downshifting. Confidence and safety, two things that really go hand in hand for me.
I know with the first video, I started off with things that may have sounded like criticisms. I just wanted to outline some of the things that I noticed right away. But with this video, I wanted to highlight some of the things that I absolutely love already about the bike, which is the power. I think it's a very, very reasonable amount to cover a lot of bases if, you know, this is the only bike you want to own. The flickability and the weight of this is just so much fun as well. So far, I'm loving the bike. I'm so excited to spend more time with it. Ultimately, going to more places like maybe the mountains one day, or just seeing more nature on this bike. And yeah, that's it for me. This is the first time I've owned a Ducati. This is the first time I've owned a bike that isn't a Honda or Yamaha. I guess the first time I've owned a bike that has a more classic look to it. So yeah, if you have any comments, please feel free to drop them below. And let me know what you think of the Scrambler. If you're interested in it and if you have questions, I'll try to answer them to walk you through the decision-making process that I went through. But until next time, I'll probably do another check-in at around 500 kilometers or so, or maybe an ASMR ride down the line. But yeah, that's it for me. I'm going to be signing off, so thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.